welcome back to another episode of Presley's Pod. Happy Sunday. I was just thinking about this little stool and remember, whoa, remember when I used to try to have flowers here and then they would fall over and water would spill everywhere? I don't think I ever caught that on camera, but I'm thinking about redoing this entire room soon. So maybe I get like a cute little table where I can have some trinkets, maybe like a snack, maybe a soda. Anyway, we're here. Happy Sunday. Today, my skin is skinning. You know, those days where you just look at your skin and you're like, what is going on? I've been using all the same products, doing all the same things. I don't know if you can see it from where you are over there, but the skin is skinning. So I'm trying my best to not touch it, and I'm trying my best just to let it have a moment and breathe. And now I'm second guessing what what I'm doing later because okay, let me get to it. So the skin is skinning. I also noticed that my hair is thinning. I was touching my head the other day and I started to just feel skin and scalp. Like there I go like this and there's nothing to like grab onto to push my hair behind my ear. So I'm a little concerned about that maybe. Here's the thing again, I use all the products, I do the masks, I do the oil, like I do everything that they tell you to do. So I'm like, is it just going to take time? I've really been trying not to wear my hair slicked back, but also it gets to a point where even this weekend, I know I'm going to need to put in my extensions because I want to have more volume. And I know that that's not good for my hair, but it gets to that point where you're just like, I know I have to do this because I need a little confidence boost. And circling back to the skin is skinning, I woke up this morning and sometimes you just feel like, you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, we need to do something, you need a little confidence boost. And as the girls and I have talked about on this show before, a spray tan will get you there. So that is what I'm doing after this. Okay, so this week I actually wasn't, I only socialized one night. The rest of the week was just prepping for, I'm traveling again this weekend. So I was prepping for that, prepping some work stuff and working out, getting the body right. But so on Monday night, I got six of my friends together to go to Planta. And that is a restaurant, a vegan restaurant. They have a location in Nomad, and I believe they have a location in Williamsburg. We call it Planta to just be annoying, but I don't know if it's Planta or Planta. Anyway, so we kikied, we ate so much sushi. They have a deal on Mondays. Okay, now I only have 30 subscribers, and I think 20 of them don't live in New York, so I don't think this will ruin it for for us. But they have a deal on Monday where each roll is $9, okay? So you get a group of 7 hungry people together and we're about to go in. So, I hadn't seen a majority of these people since January, so we had a lot to catch up on, okay? I'm sitting on the end of the one side closest to whoever's sitting next to us, and one of my good friends is sitting across from me, right? So we're talking, we're kikiing, everyone's telling stories, and you obviously have to, you know, tell the story loudly so that people at the end of the table could hear you. So the couple next to us, they finish eating, they they come over to our table and they say, "Are you guys theater people?" And we're like, "Yes, yes, you caught us red-handed." The husband, and granted they were like they were old, okay? The husband puts his hand on my shoulder and I was like, "Oh, okay, no touching. Back off." He goes, "Is my wife bothering you?" I was like, you might be bothering me, but she is giving me a compliment on my entertainment provided to my friend group and to you all. So you're welcome. Sayonara. Then, same thing. Boom, new couple sits down at that table. After that, they get up, they come over, they say, what industry are you guys in? What industry are you guys in? And we were like, they were like, do you guys work in tech? And my friend across from me was like, tech? Are people in tech energetic? And she was like, sometimes. And she's like, we were just curious. Like, you guys were so fun. It was fun to sit next to you guys. And we were like, you're welcome for providing that entertainment for your meal. Honestly, we take tips. But anyway, so we, my friend and I have been going to Planta for forever. And last time we were there for an event and we met the manager. And then the manager moved to LA. But my friend, they still like keep in contact whenever we go to Planta. So we got the little manager special, we got some free dessert. And honestly, I should write them a thank you note because we truly had the best time. But I did leave a great 5-star review, and shout out to everyone in the restaurant for dealing with us because we were kooky. But yeah, so it was amazing. I highly recommend. And it's all vegan, which is crazy because it does not taste like it. And yeah, big fan. Anyway, so that was fun. Usually group things stress me out, but with these people, I'm like, meh, they know me. We all know each other. Like we're all the same. Obviously, we had the best time. So, oh, also, Lauren and Addie are finally, we're all going to be back in town next week, finally. And we were trying to plan, we're planning a girls' night, we're planning a little kiki, a little get out there, hit the town. And we were looking at a certain rooftop restaurant bar situation, and they're trying to charge a $20 entry fee like on top of the food that you're already going to buy and pay for. We were like, like, that is the quickest way to make someone say no. Like, we should not be, trust me, we will order probably everything on the menu, but we should not have to pay for an entry fee just to get in the place. I love New York, but sometimes I'm like, you guys, we gotta pipe down with some of that stuff. So here's the thing. How am I doing? How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm feeling good this month. The month of February is very busy with traveling and with the social calendar because usually everyone travels in January and then all my friends and I we like reconvene in February. February 19th through the 28th, I'm going to be home. So that's already half of the month like I'm not going to be in New York. So planning my social calendar because this year I'm going to be outside more. I need to get out there. Okay. I need to leave the comfort of my own home and get out there. I am going out more. And if you live in New York City, those things require reservations. So you have to book things 3 weeks in advance. And with even with my friends, we're like, okay, we can do this day, or this day. And it's like 3 available days in February. So boom, boom, boom. Like everything is booked for February. This Sunday night, when this episode airs, this Sunday night is my last free night of the month. I am getting on a flight. My flight lands at 6 p.m. in New York City. That is my last free night. And when I say free night, I don't mean that I'm going out every night. I just mean I have other things going on, appointments, workouts. Even there might be nothing going on, but I'm like, no, I need to save that night so I can be home because I have something big the next morning, or I know that I'm going to need to want that night at home so I can get this done the next morning, right? So, I with that one night, okay, the two men that have kind of entered my life, one is very like he locks it down, he gets things done, and we have plans for Tuesday. The other, I'm kind of like we talk more, but the planning takes we talk and then the plan comes, if that makes sense. So he's texting me right now and I'm like, I can't wait to break it to him that it's Sunday or March 1st. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. But this is kind of what I wanted to talk about this episode. So with all of these plans and with plans with my friends, with plans for myself and my time alone, I will never change my plans or rearrange my plans to go on a date with a man. I will never, because for me, I'm so type A, it's already in the calendar, it's probably written in pen in my planner. Like, I have a life and I'm not going to rearrange everything, cancel on my friends, cancel something that I want to do just because I want to go on a date, right? And I also think when you put those boundaries up, you start to become like you're not a yes man, if that makes sense. And they can get to know your life a little bit more, see if this is going to work, see if your schedules are going to align eventually. And you don't want to be, you want to be easygoing, but you don't want to be too easygoing, if that makes sense. So I truly, like, even if it's something small, running an errand, or again, just me being home, like, I truly will not. So we'll see how this man reacts to the fact that I'm literally only going to be free on March 1st, but it's okay. So the dating update of the week is, with this man, I trekked it all the way down to Brooklyn. It's really not that far. And we went to dinner and we went for drinks and he showed me Brooklyn. And I said to Lauren and Addie, I was like, you guys, I just don't think that I can do a long distance relationship again. And Addie responded in all caps. It was like, Presley, it's not that far. I go to Brooklyn all the time. I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm kidding. But yeah, so we will see. It was fun. It feels still like kind of new compared to the other guy that I know a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. Going back to like a career moment, he did say something interesting. We were talking about the 3-year rule when it comes to being an entrepreneur or starting anything. You got to give it 3 years and then you'll kind of start to see traction. And I reflect on my career so far, and that rule has been pretty true with everything that I've been doing. And he was like, well, that's funny because he has like a day job in whatever industry. No, I know it. I'm not gonna say it. And then he has a side business. And he was like, that's funny because for me it was 10 years. And I think that's such a good point, or a good example of like, whatever you're starting, are you willing to stick it out once you get past that 3-year point? Like, you can start something and it's so exciting when you start it and you do it, whether it's a passion project or a new career, whatever, but going, you have to think about that like 10 years from now, right? And this is really going to go sidetrack, but I think some people forget that when they want a kid and they want babies, that those babies are going to grow up one day. So they're cute and they're like little tiny whatever, and then they're going to grow up one day, and I think people forget that you're also going to have an 18-year-old at some point. Okay. Sidetrack. Anyway, so I think right now, where I stand with this whole dating thing, I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I don't feel any sort of like clock ticking, trying to find a husband. I truly don't see myself getting married until I'm 35 plus. I just have never seen, I have things that I don't know, I just never seen, when you're little and you like envision the life that you want to live. For me, marriage was never early, and honestly kids was never, so I don't want to, like, I'm not rushing into anything, and I think it's nice that I don't feel any of that pressure from anyone in my family, in my immediate circle, or from myself. So I'm truly just dating to see if I can find someone to get along with and like enjoy life with. So I think right now the biggest thing that I'm dealing with is trying to figure out what type or lifestyle of a guy is going to work best with mine and what I actually want. The only words that I could come up to like describe it are someone steady or someone that's a little bit more like spontaneousy, but with their career, if that makes sense. So I don't know what the best word is to summarize that, but it's like the steady or the, because steady could still be exciting. So it's not exciting. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. So, for example, if you're with someone that they go to work from 9 to 5 and then they go home, right? That's the extreme, because nowadays I feel like a lot of people are diving into hobbies, they're diving into side businesses, they travel, they have friends. But say that is he goes to work and he goes home. And in my line of work, my it's always like, it's always a little up in the air. So for me, sometimes, and it's not steady, like I don't look for outside excitement because I find a lot of excitement within my career. So whenever I go out or I'm like seeing someone, it's the same feeling as when I'm working, if that makes sense. So it's very, and because I pour so much energy into that, it's very nice for me to just like sit back, relax, and let the man just fully take over the conversation, honestly, or at least be able to keep it up the entire time and I can kind of bounce off of that. I don't know if I enjoy the dynamic of me being the one to provide more of the entertainment, right? Think I see it as like 60-40. So I don't think I want to be the 60% providing the entertainment. I think I want to be the 40% responding because obviously I do this. I have things to say, I have things to talk about. I want to talk. I don't just want to sit there, but it is nice to have someone that can, like, the sparks are flying like that because within his career or within his day-to-day life something's always new, right? So do you want the something's always new, or are you attracted to the steady? And when I envision my life, it's with the steady. Like I see myself being with someone that is steady. They have their own things going on, but they're a little bit steadier. I don't even know if that's the right word. If they're a little bit steadier than I am, and then I can go and do all of my things. Not just because money is with steady. Like I still want to make my own money and the things that I want to do will make me money. So I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about the dynamic of the two of you together, right? And I like that idea. I like the idea of being with someone that's steady. And yet I'm always pulled to people and more drawn to people that have a little bit more excitement in their day to day, or their careers are like, yeah, I got this client. Great. Oh no, I have no clients. Not great. Like a little bit more up in the air. And I am always drawn to that because I think I relate to that. That's how my career is and probably always will be unless I decide to pivot. And I'm always drawn to that because it's easy for us to talk about that and it's easy for us to relate to each other on that. But the thing is, I don't know, I'm still thinking about steady. Still thinking about steady. So we will see. And something that actually, like, someone said at dinner on Monday night, we're talking about people that are just, they can talk, like they can talk. And a lot of a lot of people that I've gone out with casually, whatever, in New York City, like they can talk. And my friend said something like, okay, yes, they love to hear the sound of their own voices, like they can provide the entertainment, check. But sometimes that just means that they're not listening to you. Like they can talk, 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 talk. You chime in, they talk, like you have to make sure that they're actively listening to you and what you're saying and not just asking you the follow-up question because they ran out of things to say. I'm really I'm really getting into some like tiny details here, but I can see in someone's eyes when they're not listening to me when I'm talking. Like I can see the second that you zone out or the second you start thinking of something else or you start looking around the restaurant. Like I'm not an idiot. I'm sitting right here. I can see. So I think I'm just trying to navigate that. And I think, again, I swear I say this every episode, but this is why you have to date different kinds of people. And I say this to remind myself. So I'm going to challenge myself and hold myself to that of who knows, like literally who knows what kind of person I could end up with. So I'm going to keep, this is something new that I've discovered that I kind of, when I'm looking back on the past, the history of men in my life, everyone looks completely different. Everyone has a completely different job, but they all have like this one personality trait that they can just talk. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if that's some, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if that's something that I want forever, you know? So I think there's another part of that where you can be with a man who's just yapping away and loves to chat. Um, and that's totally fine. But you can also be with a man that's yapping away and loves to chat, and it's kind of starting to cross into the line of like he's just trying to impress you, like he's just word vomiting at you with stuff and things, and you're like, oh, okay. I've had for example, I one time I was like, "Oh, I my friends and I went to this bar. I really like it. I think it's like very pretty in there, whatever." And he was like, "Oh, well, that bar is like kind of touristy. Like, have you ever been here?" Which is like the bar that he mentioned was a nicer bar, obviously. And he was like, "Oh, we should go sometime." And I'm like, "That's not the point of the story. The point of the story was for you to be like, "Oh, why do you like that bar? What friends were you with? How did you all meet?" Like, blah blah. Like the I don't really care about like going to somewhere nicer, if that makes sense. Also, as a girl in New York City, New York is full of nice bars, private clubs, all of the things. If you're a girl in New York City and you've dated a handful of people, there's a good chance that someone has taken you to a very nice bar or a very nice dinner. So when a man is sitting across from you and he's like trying to flex about all of the cool places that he's been, just keep that information in your back pocket of like, oh, whatever that TikTok thing now is like, oh, I know ball. Like, yeah, you've been to here, here, and here, but like little do you know that I've been to here, here, and here. And so I keep that in my back pocket. And only if he says, "Oh, have you been?" Then I'll say something. I don't cut him off. I'm not like, "Oh, yeah, well, I've been there." I say, I let him finish his spiel about the nice bar that he's been to and the nice dinners that he goes to all the time. And then if he says, "Oh, have you been there?" I say, "Yes, I have." I'm not lying. If I actually have been there, I say, "Yes, I have." And I also don't offer up any information of the other similar nice-ish places that I've been because they don't need to know. They don't need to know. If that's I think I've talked about this before. I don't play any games when it comes to dating, but that is one game that I do like to dabble in, okay? And also I've mentioned this before. You can be on a terrible date with someone in the nicest restaurant in New York City. You can be on the best date with someone in a dive bar down the street. It truly doesn't matter. Like it kind of gets to a point where if you just keep going to nice place after nice place, you're like, okay, I'm like kind of bored. Let's go do something else. So just remember that if he can take you to all those nice places, like, yeah, it's fun, but you want to make sure that you're having a good time at those nice places and you're not getting distracted by the niceness. I actually remember someone said that she was dating someone and I think it was their second date, or I can't remember, but she mentioned something along the lines of like he was just pulling out all the stops to impress me. And she was like, I honestly was like, I don't really want to go anymore. Because it was like nice restaurant, nice this, nice car. And she was just like, like this just feels fake kind of. So, anyway, yeah, just remember you can still have a terrible time at a nice restaurant. I think they think that that impresses us, which it does, for a little bit. And then when you kind of get to know someone, you're like, okay, we don't need to do that all the time. And I will say, because I'm always seeing both sides in this brain of mine, I will say dating is more fun sometimes when you are eating very expensive sushi, okay? Like that's not going to hurt if you're drinking a nice glass of wine and you're eating a great meal. I do love those things in my life. So we'll see, but there's also a dive bar near me that does $7 espresso martinis and I love those as well. So my hot take of the week, this is, I always have to have like a little career moment just to make sure that we're um, moving straight in that direction. Moving straight, that makes no sense. I, my mom told me this a while ago, and I realized that I needed to refresh my story. When someone asks you career wise what you've been up to, especially if you're in a career that's not quite steady, you should have an answer prepared, especially if there's not a lot going on. You should have some sort of quick sentence of, yes, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to work on this, and I'm going here, and then I'm doing this, I'm prepping for this, I'm blah, 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 or I just finished this, and now I'm doing this, now I'm getting ready for this. Like if you're in a weird unemployment time, One, because, strong eye contact, tell the person that. I remember someone asked me, and it took me a second to be like, yeah, I did just do that. And now I'm about to do this. And having that confidence to be like, yes, I do this. Like, don't downplay it, but also don't be an a-hole about what you're about to do. So I remember someone said, we were actually, no, I remember exactly who it was, but obviously I'm not going to say. We were at a party and someone asked someone's boyfriend what he was up to. And he was like, oh, this and that. Direct quote, this and that. And that's just maybe not, granted, he probably could have been doing some really cool things that he just didn't want to share. But that's, for example, we can think of something better to say than that. So today is Sunday. Happy day of the Bad Bunny concert. I cannot wait to watch. I cannot wait to see if I end up going to a friend's something tonight. And I can't wait to get my spray tan right now because I need a little confidence boost. So I hope that you all have a great Sunday. Again, we're still celebrating the new year here, February 1st. Happy New Year. Next week, I have Addie on. We're going to do a little Galentine's episode, and that's going to be very fun to get us in the mood for Valentine's Day. So I hope that everyone has a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.